Hello, Troy from ZA Comics here. Got another speed build for you. This one, a little nostalgic. It is set 10306. I think they missed the boat with this. There's 2,532 pieces. Come on, guys, 68 more pieces. You could have had 2,600 pieces on the Atari 2600. That would have been, come on, you missed the boat. Anyway, it is one of the Lego exclusives, part of their iconic series, the Icons. It is, I was poor, so I didn't have an Atari 2600, but all my friends did, so I got to play it. I made every excuse I could to go to their house. It has everything from the joystick to the console with the wood grain. I don't know if you guys remember, it had the wood grain and the cool games here. And now the games actually open up. There's three of them, Centipede and Asteroids and Adventure. And if you remember right, Adventure is the one that Ready Player One is kind of references it very heavily. Shouldn't say kind of, it does reference it very heavily. So we are going to open up this big 2,500 piece box and build an Atari 2600. Not a working Atari 2600, it's a replica, of course. And I say that because go look on Lego's website under reviews. So I give it a 1-star review because it wouldn't actually play Atari games. I don't know. No words. I have no words for it. But let's quit wasting time and let's start building.
First thing I noticed opening up the box was this little note here saying that they are moving over to a more sustainable packaging. They're going to use a lot less plastic, a lot more renewable stuff, even though their Legos are actually made out of plastic. First thing I like to do is open it up and do a quick inventory of what's in the box. As you can see here, we have 16 separate steps. Some of them have multiple bags. Some of them just have one bag. We had the instruction manual, and we had a sticker set there that the stickers are going to go mostly on the game cartridges. But I think there's a couple stickers in other areas, but we'll see those as we complete each step. Bag 1 lets us build the adventure cassette and the little standalone avatar. You saw the golden chalice in the back of the yellow castle there. I believe that's Yorgol the dragon. He's the yellow dragon. There's also a green dragon Grindel and a red dragon Rindel. The bat's not displayed on here, but he was Nubberub. This is generally seen as one of the more notorious Easter eggs, not the first, one of the more notorious, and actually Ready Player One was kind of heavily influenced by this game. So game, adventure, really great game for the Atari 2600 is what you get out of bag number 1, along with this little avatar showing you some stuff from inside the game. Bag number 2, we get to build the little case that holds our 3 game cartridges that we will be building later. With bag 3, we're starting to build the base for the console. You can see it starting to take shape here. Still got a long way to go, but we still have 16 bags total. So with bag 4, we're starting to build up the side walls on the console. You can see them taking shape here. This is a lot of interior work that's not going to show once it's completed, but it needs to be done. Bag 5, we're starting to build up the back wall where the switches and the cartridge insert port are going to go. You can't see it yet, but they're building the basis for where these switches are going to go in. And you can see the opening here for where the cartridge insert will actually go into the console. Bag 6, we're continuing to build up the back part of the console. You can see it's getting a little more definition. You can see the tilt there. It's going to be kind of angled. And on the back side, you can actually see where the ports are going to be, the joystick port, the power port, all those right there. With bag number 7, we're starting to work on the angled back plane that's going to contain the switches and the cartridge insert port. You can see all the infrastructure underneath here needed to keep it stable. With bag number 8, we get to build the cartridge for Asteroids. I spent many quarters on this game. They sold over 3 million copies for the Atari 2600. And here we got the little avatar displaying what the game looks like. It was a great game, still is. With bag 9, you can see the beginnings of some kind of movement. This thing here is going to flip up when you pull the switches on the side. You'll see later exactly what that's going to entail, but if you pull this, you see these things move, and a scene will be pulled up for you to view. Well, you didn't have to wait long for that scene, because bag 10 is where we build it. This looks like somebody's basement or early game room with the wood paneling, and there's some pictures hanging up on the wall of different games. You can see things scattered around the room that are reminiscent of the 80s and the Atari era. Bag 11, kind of boring, but it's necessary. You start to see that top for the Atari taking shape, very iconic design. With bag 12, that top is taking shape, plus the distinctive wood grain front they had on the VCS, the video console system, before it became the Atari 2600. Now with bag 13, you can really tell this is Atari 2600 video console system. The only thing we're missing is that angled back plate, which we'll be putting on later. But here, remember I told you, you pull this out and that scene pops up from your gaming basement of the 80s. With bag 14, we have our Atari video computer system. Look at this. From a distance, a few feet away, you would actually think this was a working Atari 2600. Switches work. There's some rubber bands in the back that keep them popping up. You pull the plate out. Here's your scene from the game room basement. Really great look. And what is any video game system without a joystick? This iconic Atari joystick is just, it's spot on. And you can see the plug here that will go into the console. Centipede, one of the top 4 games of 1982, had a very large female base. Might be due to Donna Bailey, one of the only female programmers. This was a classic game and still is. Here's the completed Lego set with the cartridges in their case. There's a joystick, the little avatars for the games, which add just a little extra oomph to the game. And here is the console. You can actually use all the switches and plug a cartridge in.
Lego set 10306, 2,532 pieces for 18 and plus. It's a great nostalgia piece. Really, it was an easy build. I only had to backtrack once or twice. I usually end up putting something just a little off, and I did again in this one. That's what the little orange tool's for. Most important tool in your Lego set. So you got the console, which looks remarkably like an actual Atari from back in the day, if you grew up with that. You've got the game cabinet that holds 3 games, and the cartridges actually fit in there, and you can actually plug them into the console. I mean, you can turn the power on. Ain't nothing going to happen because it's not a real Atari. But still, it just completes that look. It just makes it that much cooler. Really love that touch. You have, I'm going to call them avatars for the games. Kind of gives you a little diorama of what the actual gameplay looks like, from Missile Command to Centipede to Adventure. Got the joystick. Joystick actually moves. The button doesn't push, but you can plug it in the back. There's a little Lego connection. You just pop it right in there and clicks in. So you can simulate playing. And I mean, if you put these two things 5-6 feet away, somebody is going to think that it's a real Atari. It really does look that much like a real Atari. Like I said, the 2 buttons here, the reset and the select, have rubber bands inside, so they actually, just like on the real game, they default back to the top position. These, of course, they're not going to default back because it's either on, off, and you got color and black and white. So, those are wherever you set them. So great detail on that part. Here's the cool part. If you grip the front here, where the wood grain is, this whole part slides forward. And when you hit a certain point, it's going to activate, boom, the flip up scene. It's a basement scene, 1980s, game room basement scene. You got your
your game posters hanging. You got, of course, your little kitty cat there, the TV with the console. A nice touch. You got the boombox, the VHS tape, and it's even got a little minifig dude holding the joystick. So, you know, great piece, great nostalgia piece. It's one of their icons. There's Atari Video Computer System, which later got renamed to the Atari 2600, which still saying you missed a boat, Lego. You could have made that 2,600 pieces, throw in some extras somewhere just to hit that number. But it is still a good piece. Really enjoyed building it. Didn't take long. Took maybe 2 evenings of a couple hours each evening building it. And that's because I was taking my time and watching TV at the same time, stopping to take pictures for every bag for you guys. So if you are looking for a really nice nostalgia piece, and I believe they have the Nintendo also in there, can't go wrong picking up the Atari Video Computer System. It's got, just a great visual appeal, nostalgia. It's going to look really good next to your other Legos. And I think it's, for the old school guys like me, it's really going to grab their attention when you walk in a room. That's going to be the first thing they see, because it's going to bring back so many great memories of gaming in your friend's basement. If you like this speed build and you'd like to see more like it, subscribe, man. It helps us with the metrics and allows us to make videos like this for you guys for free, because these Lego sets, they cost some money. Give us a like, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever we make a new video. And until you see that new video, later, nerds.